Hello. Hello TikTok. Hello YouTube. Half my head is off. This is better. Today I'm going to talk about inner roles, inner child, inner adult, and inner parent. This dialogue, I already did it before, so it's going to be maybe some not new information, but I just want to have a replay. I want to make sure that people who will listen later, they will be able to listen to this. So this information will be available to everybody. So might be just a lecture. We will see how it will go. So I wanted to talk about inner child because I think it is very, very important, especially for us women. And right now, I think it's a good time to talk about inner child because it's a Sagittarius season, and Sagittariuses are very free, very childlike. So their behavior doesn't depend on circumstances, more like on their inner impulses. So if they feel like they want to do something, they do it. If they feel like they want to go somewhere, they go, and like that. So they always they don't mind to to be free, to listen to yourself, to listen to their inner child. So, and we should all learn from them. I have friends that are Sagittariuses and they never betray themselves. If they want something, they get it, they buy, they stuff like that. So what are the inner roles? I put that it's inner roles and femininity. So we have three roles in us. It's not like roles, it's more like three characters that are playing, taking turns. So it is inner child, inner adult, and inner parent. So ideally, we would need to live in the personality of inner adult. Now, but it doesn't often happen like this. Ideally, we should have been inner child while we are a child, and we could be inner parent when we basically become a parent, and we should be inner adult after like 18 years old, right? So, but it doesn't happen like this. We have all three personalities throughout our life. Now, what we can do though, we can manage them. We need to make sure that those roles harmoniously coexist in our body, in our mind, more like. So, what are they? So, what is the difference? Well, inner child is our creativity, our life, our desire to live, our love for life, our pleasure, our enjoyment. It's our excitement. Just like when you see little kids, they don't need much to be happy about. They're happy about themselves, about what they do, about how they do. They're just this little creative balls of pleasure. And we love them for that. We love little kids because they can allow themselves to be like that. So this is an inner child. Our inner child depends on what we allow ourselves. Now, inner parent is the one that basically is the one that controls us, so to say. So the one that makes sure that inner child doesn't harm itself. Inner child, so you can say that inner child is emotions, inner parent is the mind, and inner adult is our consciousness. So if the child will, I don't know, go and jump off the roof, it will probably die. So we have inner parent that will say, hey, maybe it's not the smartest idea to jump from the roof. So we need inner parent. Inner parent is somebody who keeps us safe, keeps us in certain boundaries for our body to stay alive and well. And then we have inner adult. Inner adult is above both of them. So inner adult is somebody who took the responsibility for its life and just moves on with it and doesn't react anyhow on anything. So it's basically just moves forward with what the ideas are and delivers them to the. So while the inner child is trying to get pleasure and inspiration for something, inner parent is trying to keep us alive. It's the inner adult that actually makes those that happen. Um, our life and our um, mm, our desires to actually become reality. So this is that. Now, why is inner child is so important? Because I want to talk about inner child in particular, because this is feminine dialogue. So we're women. I promote femininity and developing the femininity very very much. As women, we could not be feminine if our inner child is suffering. Because inner child, when our inner child is strong and in a good position, we have a strong empathy, strong creativity, and strong intuition. We can love and give pleasure to not only to ourselves but to everybody around. And if we could not do that, our femininity is non-existent. Remember, femininity is inspiration, pleasure, and love. Now, if we could not do that, if we could not give it to ourselves, then how can we give it to others, especially to masculine energy around us? We won't be. So that's why inner child and making sure that inner child is happy within us is very, very important. And I took some time in my life to make sure that my inner child is good and thriving. Now, how to find out how is your inner child or not? You can look at your relationship with your parents or an authority figure in your life. Could be maybe your grandparents or somebody who is important in your life and who you kind of listen to, so to say. Even if you're already grown up, wouldn't you want to disappoint? Now, if your relationship with that person or with those persons, like parents, um, um, like smooth and exciting, this is how your inner child feels inside. So a relationship with parents, our parents, are just a reflection of our inside kind of struggle of parenting and child. So if and where it coming from? It's come from childhood, obviously, because we were used to particular treatment, and then we continue treating ourselves like this. So if our parents were very strict, we continue being strict to ourselves. It is normal. It's normal to adopt a pattern. Now, it's not normal to be stuck to a pattern that doesn't suit us. So ideally, we should kind of realize the pattern and change it if it doesn't work for us. Now, but usually people don't change. They just live with it and then they start blaming parents and everybody else for what they are. Now, there's no point, really. It doesn't serve us anyhow. So you can look. So if you will, I have clients that say, "Oh my God, my relationship with parents so good," but then the inner child is like all um, not happy. Then I am doubting that the relationship with parents are good. So somebody is lying here. Now, also sometimes we think that the relationship with parents are good, but it's not always. Now, you should, like, if I will tell you about your parents, if I will tell you that you will have to spend with your parents a whole month in one room, how would you react? And you will know what are your relationship with the parents are. Like, for example, I have no problem. That's how healed I am completely, right? So yes, of course, I do have sometimes issues with my inner parent and inner child, but for the most part, it's not that significant. Now, so our goal is so once you will realize what you are and how you are with your parents, then you can start working on your inner child. Now, ideally, your inner child should be completely free. You can allow your inner child do anything it wants, anything, be anybody it wants, do anything it wants, as long as it's not harming itself, right? So if the child wants to eat chocolate, let it eat chocolate. Like me right now, well, not right now, but I haven't seen sun in the last 4 days. There's not enough vitamin D in my life. So my mom made these delicious chocolates, and I've been eating them. Usually I allow myself one or two, but today alone I maybe eat five already. So what I want to say is that inner child is it's okay. The inner child sometimes may be unhappy, sometimes may be moody a little bit, but it has we as our inner parent should allow it. Now, the child inside should feel absolute and unconditional love and security. Then your inner child will be free. Um, Now, if another thing, how you can find out whether your inner child is healed or not, you can see how you sleep. If when you sleep you're trying to close yourself, then your inner child doesn't feel secure. Doesn't have to be about the parents. For example, my parents are energy of air. They are not very like they are not showing their feelings too much. So they never been strict on me, never. They allowed me anything I want, but they never showed the feelings either. So I got used to not to feel nothing at all, and it was scary. If you would think that sometimes that it's okay to like you would want your parents to kind of ignore you completely, it's not always that, because you don't know what's going on. So I when I was little, I used to sleep like this. I would just like hug myself and sleep like that. So you can see how you sleep. Ideally you should sleep open, then you're in trust. Because when we cover our body, inside of our body, this is our un, unconscious attempt to protect ourselves, to protect, because we protect the insides, our organs. And so if when we want to close it, we basically want the protection for ourselves. How do you know whether your inner parent is unhappy? Because inner parent can be unhappy too, and when the inner parent is unhappy, it makes inner child unhappy as well. So when the inner parent is unhappy, you can't sleep, and you look for somebody to blame. This is the inner parent. It's not the inner adult. So inner parent is always looking for somebody to blame. Remember that. Looking for can blame itself, the child, or it can be blaming the government or the neighbors or whoever else. So inner parent, unhappy inner parent, unhealed inner parent is always looking for somebody to blame. Now, an inner adult, if the inner adult is not adultish, it has you have a lot of fear and anxiety. So it's when your inner adult doesn't know what's going on in life and how to approach life, how to deal with life, basically. So once you realize where your issues are, you can start working with them. Ideally, you should be living like 75% as an adult, inner adult. So you are not blaming nobody. You're just living your life as you project. So you go through life as just you're supposed to. Now, this is and the more mature your inner adult is, the more successful your life will be. Now, there must be time for your inner child and for your inner parent. So, for example, you're not feeling too good. So, your inner child will need more care. The child needs to be loved, needs to feel loved. Usually, we get sick when we completely betrayed ourselves and the child doesn't feel good. So, it's basically like this: if we live in a healthy inner adult state at all times, our inner child and inner parent just go along. They're dormant, kind of. But once our inner parent is doing something that's not right, so to say, for us, those two come out from the shadows, right? So inner child is basically when you're forgetting yourself, when you don't love yourself, when you don't care for yourself, when you sacrifice yourself for the others or for the benefits of others. This is when the inner child wakes up and lets the world know about itself. Let you know. When you become sick, when you need attention, when you need love, this is an indicator that you forgot about yourself. You forgot about your inner child. Now, so once the inner child awake, the inner parent is awake too, and inner parent tries to control the child, obviously, because they have to kind of control each other. Now, it's okay. So if you have if your inner child is out here and unhappy, you need to make sure that the child feels loved. So you need to give yourself love, and this love has to be completely unconditional. Remember, maybe some of you have kids. Those who don't, you probably have nephews and nieces. You love those kids unconditionally. You don't put conditions on the kid just because you don't tell the kid, well, if you'll do your homework, I will love you. That's not true. You love the kid, whether the kid will do homework or not, whether he will do anything. You just love. Maybe you will be disappointed for a second, but you will never not love the kid. So why not to tell that? So the same with you. You need to love your inner child unconditionally. And allow the child to explore. So you need to allow the child to be the child. You could not forbid the child to dream. For example, how it could be projected into real life. For example, you can be sitting and daydreaming, or maybe a New Year is coming. Maybe you will be writing New Year resolutions. This is your inner child, somebody who is dreaming inside of you, somebody who is hoping for something better. Now, inner child also the one that dreams, that get inspired, that gets ideas, different ideas. For example, to go somewhere, to travel, or maybe to see somebody, to see other people, to start dating. So inner child is an optimist inside of us. Inner parent is a pessimist, and inner adult is a realist. So, but we all need a little optimism in our life. It is just, it should be like that. So when you give the inner child unconditional love and allow it to explore, and don't just brush it off, but listen to the child. If the inner child wants to travel, go and travel, because that means that you are completely forgot about itself. As I said, inner child will not bother you unless you are betraying yourself, kind of. Now, if your inner child is already loud and shouting in your ear that we need to travel, then you need to travel. You could not betray your inner child. Remember, you are playing the game with yourself, not with anybody around. And if you think that you could not travel because there are other obligations, you're mistaken. You put in those obligations on yourself. Now, the inner parent should be a loving parent. Usually, we're strict parents to ourselves, especially from the culture where I came from. My parents were not strict. I was fortunate, very fortunate. But for some reason, I became strict on myself. Maybe because my parents were not very emotional, I felt like I have to do extra to get some kind of emotions out of them. I never knew that they were really very much loving me, as any parent would. It just they couldn't express their emotions. So I became strict on myself since childhood. I always believed that I should do extra to impress my parents and to earn their love. So that's basically my story. Yeah, but everybody has their stories as well, right? So the parent should be very loving. Usually, from my clients, from the clients that I'm working with, from women that I'm meeting, from men that I'm meeting, inner parent is always very strict. We're so hard on ourselves, so hard, especially energy of earth, unbelievably hard. It's just like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do this, and we have an agendas, we have plans, and then when we don't do it, we just blaming and blaming and blaming. It never works. It's actually not good. You just basically like a rat going in circles, and those circles will never disappear, because we program to do the same thing over and over and over again. Now, but our goal is to get out of the circle, right? So the inner parent has to be very loving, very. So if you have your kids, or maybe nephews and nieces, maybe bad example, when that child does something, I mean, do you not love him? You do love him. You probably will laugh if he will do something stupid, but you still love him, and you find him amusing, or her, and you enjoy that child in your life. because whether you want it or not, but that child gives you joy. Like, I have a niece. I don't see her often. She lives in another country. But every time she sends something, even if it's silly, I kind of smile, because the child has this kind of this this optimism, this unusual look at life, and it's always refreshing. Children are refreshing. That's exactly the word. And we need to make sure that our inner child is refreshing as well. So we have to be a loving parent to ourselves. Now, if you do something wrong, like me today, I ate 6 or 5 chocolates. I would never blame myself. Never. If my child wants to eat chocolates, I'm going to eat chocolates. That's it. Maybe I will go for a run after, but I'm going to eat chocolates until until I don't know. So the point is that I support my inner child in everything. I came to this point. If my inner child doesn't want to do nothing, we're not going to do nothing. Like, I listen to my inner child very, very much. I could say that my inner child is the driver. Don't take me wrong. I have a pretty strict, not pretty strict, pretty focused inner adult. I do have an inner parent as well. An inner parent is not stupid, but I allow my inner child to do anything, because who else is going to allow my inner child to do if not me? Now, what did I notice when I started allowing that? It's that everybody else around me also supports my inner child. I'm loved by everybody because I love myself and I love my inner child. I don't blame myself for anything I do. I don't blame for maybe how I look or how I approach people or anything. And it seems like everybody around also supports that in me. So remember, people are a reflection of us, so they will reflect as we feel inside. If I would be blaming myself, people would be blaming me. If I will be hard on myself, people will be hard on me. And I cannot allow this. I shouldn't be allowing that, right? So whether your inner child does something wrong or good, you always support. You're your biggest fan, and you just support whatever the child does. You support it. Now, if the child wants to try something new, you also support it. You don't come up with ideas, oh no, it could be hard, it could be expensive, it could be dangerous. No, you support yourself. You support your inner child. If the inner child wants to try something, let the inner child do this. It's really, really important. I just want you all to understand how important it is. Remember, femininity is it's creation. It's unconditional pleasure, enjoyment, and love. Now, we have to somehow wake it up, right? I can work on my energy as much as I can, on my chakras. I can work with other energy healers. They will help to open it in me. But it's my job to kind of keep it like that. So, and to do that, I basically need to make sure that I accept myself and accept my inner child. Right? So I won't be, if my inner child is not happy, again, I won't be able to create, to inspire, and to enjoy others. Like, this is impossible to be feminine if you don't feel secure, and if your inner child is not happy. And when it's not happy, when it doesn't feel secure, and when it's not allowed to live, to experience life. There is also, I remember there was one time somebody told me that we leave this world after our inner child, like after we don't have excitement in life anymore. And this makes sense because we experience life through excitement. We want to experience something. We want to live. And when we stop all this, when all these wishes stop, we basically, there's no point for us to live. And that's why it's so important to allow us to dream, to allow to want, allow to be in pleasure. Now, so going back, we also need to make sure that we put ourselves ahead of everything and everybody. We have to become selfish. You might throw rotten tomatoes in me right now, but this is how it should be. Look at kids. Kids are very selfish. They are only focused on themselves. They are not selfish. They're self-centered. Selfish person uses others for their benefit. Self-centered person is only focused on themselves. If you observe little kids, they are playing, they're doing whatever they want to do, they're doing whatever they feel doing. They don't ask for much. When they ask it with confidence and strength. They feel entitled for that, and then when they receive it, they're grateful. They don't bother anybody. They don't play manipulative games. They just go with the flow. They enjoy themselves and they enjoy the life around them, and they believe that they deserve it. So we should kind of be a little bit um, like little kids. So we have to be first. People love people who love themselves. Remember this, and forever become your own cheerleader, so to say. Um, so you also need to um, you need to become your own advocate as well. So whoever tells you something, you're doing it wrong, or you shouldn't be doing this, or you should do that, or should do that, you're never listening. You always make right decisions, and people will reciprocate those decisions. So, for example, if I'm laying on the couch all day, and then somebody would come to me, my God, you're laying on the couch all day. I mean, why don't you do something? If somebody tells me that, that means that inside of me, my inner parent feels like that. Now, and if somebody will come and say, "Oh, you look so comfortable on the couch. Can I join you? Can I lay on the other part of the couch?" That means that my inner parent inside just allows my inner child to lay on the couch all day in pleasure. And because I'm in pleasure, another person wants to join me because I'm in pleasure. You see the difference? And our goal is that everybody wants to be around us instead of avoiding us or what is more blaming us, right? So also what we should do, we need to count our accomplishments. If you have a kid or if you ever around kids, you make sure that you inspire them and encourage them. So they do small, little, um, some kind of they do some small accomplishments and you celebrate them, right? We always do. So they sing a song and maybe they're like completely out of tune, but still we always support them. We always tell them, "Oh my God, you did so good." So why don't we do the same to ourselves? And we should do to ourselves. Yes, maybe we make mistakes. Everybody does. Maybe we are not very perfect, but perfection is born in imperfection. So we should always celebrate our accomplishments and celebrate what we do, right? And and never blame if we think that we did something wrong. Maybe that something wrong is actually something good. So celebrating accomplishments are important, very important. Even if you don't do nothing, but for 10 minutes you meditated today, that's already a huge accomplishment, and we should celebrate it. Um, so how to heal, right? So the point is we need a healed child. Well, this is the thing. Children are not are not vengeful. They don't hold a grudge. You probably know that. Children are very much like, okay, so let's move on. Now it's maybe our inner parents that could be a little vengeful, but honestly, children are not vengeful. So you don't need to heal inner child, and don't listen to all those who say you need to heal inner child. No, you don't. You just need to change the habits. So, if right now your habit is to beat yourself up every time you don't do something, or blame yourself for every little thing that you did, unconsciously or consciously, you need to stop with that. And you basically just changing the patterns of what your parents were to you. So, if your parents were strict, you are strict now. You need to change that. And you will see your real parents will change that too. I guarantee you that. So you from now on give yourself a promise that you're going to be very kind to yourself, that you're going to love yourself unconditionally, that you will always take your side, nobody's else side, just your side. So if you are with a group of friends, and don't allow yourself ever to feel ashamed for yourself, never. Who are those people? Those people are friends, and they will accept you if you accept yourself. So you have to be like truly faithful to yourself, first of all. So choose to be your own supporter, basically. Yeah. Now, again, just as a recap, I think that's enough information for Monday. Just as a recap, why do I think this subject is very important? Because inner child is super important for the feminine energy. We cannot be, if masculinity can live on only in the adult and in a parent, they progress in being strict to themselves. The feminine energy is not like that. Feminine energy is creativity, is pleasure and enjoyment and love, obviously. And you could not love others if you don't know what love is. If you don't love yourself, if you don't feel loved, you could not love others. Whatever you will tell me, you will care for others. You won't be able to love others if you don't love yourself. You can care for others. Like I have clients that they're like, I love myself. I do so much for myself. I take myself to massages, to yoga, to hair, to do my hair, to do my nails. But this is not love. This is care. You're just caring for yourself like a man would, but you don't love yourself. Love is absolutely different. It's when you allow yourself not to do your hair, not to do your nails, or do it, but they do it just for enjoyment alone. But you love yourself regardless of how you are. You still love yourself. You accept yourself. This is a true love. I don't mean that you should be looking messy and homeless, and you just, oh, that's okay, I accept myself. That's also not right. That's just that's a weak masculinity in you when you don't take care of yourself. I mean, you need to take care of yourself, but it's not a love. It's only caring for yourself, which is fine also, but you also need to love yourself. Loving is different. Don't confuse it. So when we don't know how to love ourselves, that's what we project into others. So when we have a man or our kids, what we do, instead of loving and inspiring them, we start caring for them. We think if we cook and fold clothes for a man, we basically loving him. No, this is care. This is masculine energy that basically the man doesn't need. He can do that himself. He can hire somebody to do that. What he needs love, pleasure, and inspiration. And if a woman doesn't know what it is herself, then she wouldn't be able to give it to her man or to her kids, which is even probably worse because the kids will grow up again with the same issues as the mom did. So it's important to make sure that your inner child is absolutely happy and feels secure and free. Feels free and secure to express itself, to explore life, to express wishes, to dream about something. Yeah, some people don't even allow themselves to dream. Now, so this is important. We already figured it out. So you should live in your inner adult character most of the time, and this inner adult should live according to our wishes, our desires, and our needs. Once you start living not according to my, like if my inner adult start living not according to my wishes but according to somebody else, like if I would start putting a lot of effort to help others instead of myself, then my inner child will wake up and remind me that I'm forgetting myself, and my inner parent will wake up and kind of start controlling the inner child. So ideally, we should be completely focused on ourselves. When we're focused on ourselves, we just live a harmonious life. Now, when our inner child finally wakes up and just start letting us know that it's been neglected, we should give completely and unconditional love to ourselves, love and acceptance. So you can do it through Ho'oponopono. You can just feel loved within yourself. You can even imagine that there is a little child inside of you, and you like cradle it inside. You can do that, so once you give love like that to yourself, then you need to make sure that your inner parent as well is loving and not strict. So you don't blame yourself for nothing. You don't beat yourself up. You basically try to make it like a loving parent. You need to come to some kind of compromise through love. So, for example, if I am traveling very early, so I need to wake up at 5 a.m., my inner child probably wouldn't like to wake up at 5 a.m., but it is the compromise that needs to be done to go to travel, and it will be okay as long as it's not constant, as long as the inner child is not compromised at all times. You know, it's easy to make a deal with the kids, and with the child inside. Remember, the child inside is just loves us unconditionally, so it's very easy to kind of make a deal. Like me, for example, like if I don't want to go for a run, like right now, today it was raining, windy, but then I tell myself, well, but then you'll feel so good, and I always feel good when I'm running, so why not, let's go. I don't blame myself that we're running because we've been eating chocolate all day. No, I mean, I don't do that stuff. I'm just um, I uh, I just try to make peace with my inner child, not through blame, but through unconditional love. And so the inner child should be free, should be allowed to dream, to be free to explore. An inner parent should be loving and supportive, should be its own fan basically, and its biggest advocate. And remember, we should put ourselves first at all times. Now, how to heal the inner child? You don't need to heal inner child. You just need to change the pattern. And to find out what pattern you have, you need to look at what you and your parents, what your relationship are, because your inner parent is the reflection of your inner parent, of your parents outside. So this first. Also, observe how you sleep. When you sleep closed up, that means that your inner child doesn't feel secure. You need to provide security. How to provide security? You just basically need to love. A child feels secure when it's loved. That's as simple as it is. Okay, so that's it. If there are any questions, ask. Meanwhile, I will answer two questions that I received. So the first one is, who do you listen to? Who inspires you? This is funny. And so I was thinking, I got this question like a couple days ago. So I was thinking, I'm like, who do I really listen to? So it might sound super arrogant, but these days I listen to myself. I re-listen to my dialogues, and I will tell you why. Most of this information I know, so it's not like something new. But I always find something new for myself. You know how I always say that all the questions that you ask are needed for everybody who listens to them, and me too. So if I'm here and I'm exposed to this question, that means that I also need this question. I need it in my life at this moment. So 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 why do I listen to? I listen because I do find insights. Even I listen through my dialogues, even though it's me who've been talking, even though I know what I was talking about, I still always find some kind of useful information, and I get so inspired. Maybe because I charge these dialogues with energy or something, but every time I feel like I need in some inspiration, I listen to myself. And so, also when I answer questions like this, like usually for the lecture, I have bullet points. So this is something not new. But when I answer questions, I'm in flow. So I just answer what I feel, and then when I re-listen, it gives me a lot of insights. So these days, I listen to myself. Um, Before, I used to listen to different speakers. I would listen about the manifestation, and I would listen not because I needed the knowledge, more like I needed an anchor that would keep me in the field where I wanted to be. Like I spoke last time, this is why I'm doing these dialogues, because for women that want to be feminine, these dialogues are like an anchor that keeps them in this feminine field basically. So the same with me. The people that I was listening to, I just wanted to be anchored in that field, because we go through life. We have a lot of maybe issues that we need to resolve. We have our life, we have our friends, we have our occupations, jobs, whatever we do. And sometimes we forget where we want to go, where our dreams, where we dream to be, where we're inspired. So, and this is exactly why I listen to those manifestors. But it was through time. I used to be in the field of feminine woman as well. Just because I wanted to be anchored in that field. Then I used to be in a woman that were very luxurious. They lived very luxurious lifestyle, and I was in that group. Um, I think not by chance. I mean, I was accepted, even though I was not even nowhere close to their lifestyles, but I was accepted, and I believe that it was because I was ready for that. So I wasn't that because I wanted to be anchored in that state, and basically like this. But at this point, I re-listen to myself, and I always find insights when I listen to my dialogues again and again. I hope it makes sense. Okay, the second question is, my boyfriend doesn't support my passion. So I wrote it down. It was a long one, but I just made it a little shorter. So my boyfriend, so the lady that asked, she wants to change her job um, to her hobby. So she wants to start. She wants to basically monetize her hobby, what she's doing right now. And she lives with her boyfriend, and he doesn't support her passion. So and she worries about that. Not only him, but also her family doesn't. But about her family, she doesn't worry that much because she doesn't live with them. But the boyfriend, she worries because she wants his support, right? And he doesn't support her. So here's two things. So she's asking me, what should I do? Now, first of all, people are only showing us what we feel inside. So you basically just feeling like that. So you feeling that you shouldn't be starting this. So you might have fears or doubts in yourself. Your inner parent right now is not supporting your inner child. So and he is showing you that. And I wouldn't be blaming the boyfriend or the parents or anybody. I would be like, okay, thank you for showing me that. Like, I will give an example. You all know that I make candles and I charge them, and they are so beautiful. I mean, I love my candles so much that I don't even want to give them away to clients. Like, I love them that much. And like, they are very beautiful. They smell gorgeous, like amazing. I mean, they're made from beeswax. They smell so beautifully. I put oils, natural oils. I mean, I put herbs. I mean, they look beautiful. It's just amazing candles. Here is the advertising for my candles. But I love them so much. But it was not always like that. I'm not a creative person. Those who know me know that I don't dance, I don't sing, I don't do nothing with my hands. It's like not me. But when when these candles were kind of put on me, and I had to do something. I had to do the candles. You remember my story that when I became the Reiki master, I had to somehow use my kind of my energy work. So my master and my colleague kind of pushed on me these candles, and I didn't mind, but I didn't know how to do them. So I didn't know where to even start. So what I started to do, basically I bought this huge mold. So the first candle I did was huge. It was like this. And it was like a little chubby, a little fat. It was not very beautiful because it was just wax and some oil and in a wick, right? And when I was looking at it, I'm like, looks so chubby. So when I said burning, because I need to see whether it's burning or not, it would burn inside, but it was not burning outside. And I'm like, okay, it's not working. So I was like, it took me some time to get these candles to work. But when I showed my candle I sent it to my mom. She told me exactly what I was thinking. She said, well, it looks so chubby. I mean, doesn't look very delicate or very beautiful. And I got upset with my mom. It was a long time ago. I was like maybe 4 years ago. So, and I got upset with her that she's not supporting me. I didn't tell her because already at that time I knew that she's just reflecting my thoughts. But she just reflected me what I was already thinking. I was thinking that this candle is not looking good. I mean, why should I be upset with my mom when I myself am not supporting myself? So right now, everybody is amazed by my candles because I'm amazed by them because they're amazing. So what I want to say is that I support myself first, and then people reflect it for me, right? Now, if I don't support myself, people will reflect that I don't support. How would I know whether I support myself or not? I need those people outside of me to show me that I'm supporting myself, that I'm true to myself. So when your boyfriend shows you that, like he tells you, and listen to what he will say. If he will say, well, are you sure about that? I mean, what if you will quit your job and then you won't be able to make enough money? Like, then you, inside of you, you have fears of lack of money. Basically, he's just showing you what is inside of you. If you will say, well, if you will start your business, then you probably won't be spending much time with me. Then inside of you there is a fear of basically that your time will not belong to you, that you will be spending too much time doing what you want to do now. And then you need to address your fears. You basically need just to one by one address those fears, like I addressed with my candles. I decide, okay, so if it's chubby, then I need to find a different mold. I need a mold that will be smaller and maybe a little taller, and just maybe decorate the candle a little bit so it would be beautiful for, just to look at it. So what that's exactly what I did. I did like that, but I was grateful that somebody else told me what I was feeling, because if my mom wouldn't tell me, then I would be like, oh, okay, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's beautiful, but I still inside would not like the candle, so I wouldn't be able to offer it to others. Or maybe I would offer and then I would be ashamed of it, like feeling bad about it, that candle is not as beautiful as I would want it to be. So listen to other people, listen to what they're saying. Those other people are basically reflecting what you have inside, and it's amazing that we have this opportunity to be exposed to other people, to people that and to their opinions, because they only tell us our opinions. Also, if you have people inside outside of you that are afraid to tell you, that are just sugarcoating everything, that means that you are not inside, are not ready um, to to hear the truth, basically, to be exposed to the truth. Maybe you are not even inside, are not even ready to admit something to yourself. So again, I wouldn't be blaming anybody at all. I would be grateful to those people. Like I wouldn't even say nothing. Like I wouldn't come to a boy, oh, thank you very much for telling me that. I would be like, okay, so he's telling me this. Now let me think. Do I really have fears that I wouldn't be making enough money? Then how I'm going to address those feelings? Maybe I will save up a little bit. Maybe I wouldn't leave a job, or maybe I would get a part-time job, or maybe I'll just tell my boyfriend that he should support us for a little bit, like that. That would be ideal, honestly. And that's just it. I would be addressing. Remember, people outside are only phantoms in our own game, and they are helping us to see and to develop, to kind of to grow. So don't don't blame the messenger, so to say. Don't, just be grateful that that messenger is in your life, and it gives their opinions. Also, don't be afraid to tell your opinions to others if they ask for it. So don't give your opinions if nobody asks for it. Then you are interfering. You go into somebody else's energy field. So if a person doesn't ask your opinion and you're like, I think you should do this or this or this, and that's wrong. That's wrong. Look at me. I'm a mentor, right? But I never impose my opinions or my beliefs. And sometimes I see a person is doing wrong unless it's asked. So energetically, we could not impose on somebody. So we can impose. We don't even impose. We can help others if we asked and if we're getting compensated for. So if somebody asks me and I get something in return, then I'm solving the issue. If I'm doing it on my own, then I'm taking that issue on myself. This is wrong. We don't do that. Everybody has their own path, and we have our own path. Instead of trying to fix issues of others, we should better focus on our own issues and our own life and our inner child. If we're parenting others, I only can imagine how inner child lives. So yeah, so I hope this helps. So don't also remember this: you don't need anybody's support, and you don't need nobody's validation. You need to be firm about what you're doing. Most of the people that are successful, they're successful that because they're confident in what they're doing and they know that they're doing right. It's like I think Sophie Loren said, a woman that believes in her beauty will convince everybody around it. So this is something like that. If you're convinced that you're doing something right, everybody will be convinced in that too. So don't Don't look for validation outside. Do have the validation inside, and then the validation outside will come through. You will see. I mean, I know it. I know it like from myself, from my experience, because I also, just like you, probably, I changed a corporate career to doing what, candles and mentorship, and for some time I was a little even embarrassed to admit it. So I was doing, but I would not tell like people, like if I'm meeting somebody new and they would ask, well, what are you doing? I'll be like I don't know what. I'm like, oh, I'm trying to find myself. So I was not finding myself. I already found. Just I was maybe ashamed to admit that I found myself not in real estate like everybody else at that time was here in Florida, but I found myself in making candles. Right now, I'm actually. I was on a date yesterday. I tell the guy, so the guy is asking me, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "I teach women how to be feminine." He's like, "Can you teach me something?" I'm like, "Sure," but I say it with such a conviction and such strengths that people do want to be part of it. So um, yeah, so you don't need validation. Validate yourself, and people around you will be so happy, and they will want to be part of your ideas, of your world, and of your dreams. If you want to leave your job and work with your hobby, work with your passion, and trust me, if you are strongly thinking strongly about this, it will work. I remember a long time ago, I had a friend. She was a Sagittarius, and yeah, I started this dialogue with Sagittariuses, and I probably will finish with them. So I remember how I not even envy, but I admired her all the time because she was so true to herself, and she became very successful because I think of that. She was very true of herself. She never thought about twice about anybody. She never offended. Like if we would go to a restaurant, she would be very open with what she wants and what she doesn't want, and if she doesn't get what she wants, she basically tells that, right? So right now it's a normal thing. A long time ago it wasn't. I always admired her, and if she would want to go somewhere, she goes there. She got no like prejudices or anything. Like there was no stop for her. There's no borders. She could do anything. She was like she just. I admired her boldness, so to say. She wanted to travel. She goes traveling. She wants to leave the job. I remember she didn't like her job. She just dropped it like that. She never even thought twice, where is she going to get another job? She got another job within 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And you know why? Because she was true to herself. She knew that she was doing right for herself. And that's why when you are true to yourself, the whole universe is true to you. So she easily got a new job, right? I was, if I would quit, I would be blaming myself at that time, not right now, but I would be blaming and thinking every day, did they do right? Did they not do right? She didn't look once in that direction again. So, um, so it's very important to be like that, to be a little bit maybe delusional, maybe a little bit um, like too even arrogant in your own way. But this is how you become strong. This is how you get validation from the outside when your validation inside is on point and very strong. Like I told you already about my friend. He's Sagittarius too, very strong, so strong. His ideas. Sometimes I listen to him. I'm like, this guy. What world is he living? And I am energy of water. I'm very delusional, so to say. I mean, to a degree, obviously, but I can dream. I know I can dream, and I have ideas and everything. I enjoy it so much. I have a very good parent, my Mars in Capricorn, but my sun is in fifth house. I always will be about pleasure and enjoyment and dreams and all this. So, but when I talk to him, I'm like, this guy, and every time I leave his kind of energy space, I'm so inspired because the guy just dreams big, so big, and he has money for his ideas. I mean, he always comes up through with money for his ideas. He always comes up with something to back his ideas up. Now, on the other hand, he has a brother that's he has a lot of earth. Now that brother doesn't dream at all, and he doesn't live that life. His life is not as bright and as exciting as his brother's because because he's afraid to make a step here and there. So just to tell you that two people born in the same family, brought up by the same parents, are so different. So anyways, you don't need the validation from anybody else. Be strong and confident in you and what you're doing, and everybody else will be validating you. Will happily confirm what you already know inside. So if you're 100% sure that you can make money by selling umbrellas in Florida, well, probably these days you will make a lot of money. Then you will make a lot of money if you firmly believe in that. You can do that, and you will convince others that they have to have umbrellas for sure, because who knows. Okay, so that's it. If there are no questions, I mean, I didn't even advertise this dialogue because again, it's a replay. But if you will be listening and if you will have questions, please do write them. I will answer them. I might not answer right away, but I will answer on the dialogue, especially if I see that these questions are useful and anybody can benefit from that. I would prefer to answer them here for everybody to hear, as long as it's not obviously a secret. So now next Sunday, this Sunday coming, and the dialogue is going to be at 11 a.m. and we're going to talk about dating sites, whether it's a yes or no in our feminine world and for feminine women. And for this special dialogue, I even registered myself on the dating site, and I will share my experience. And I do invite you all so you can share your experiences. And I will tell you energetically what is dating sites and whether they're good or bad for us. And next Thursday, we're going to talk about chakras for women. Again, that dialogue also was present, but it's not recorded. So if you need to refresh your kind of memory about the chakras, you want to know how to work with them and which one responds to which one, then you can join me next Thursday at 7. Overall, this period is new moon, so I encourage everybody to start something, to do something new, but not something new completely, because Mercury retrograde started yesterday. But something that you wanted, but you was postponing, maybe it's time to get back to it and start doing it, so to say. But it's beautiful time for this. It's a really beautiful time because the energy is good. Sagittarius energy is very fiery, and it pushes us to prosper, to prosper in a good way. All right, so I think that's it. If there are no questions, then I'm going to say bye. Yeah, I don't think so. Perfect. Okay, all these are irrelevant. I'll talk to you on Sunday at 11. I hope you enjoy this information. Remember, your inner child is more important than anything else. More important than your career, than your relationship with other people, more important than how you physically look. Your inner child, if you love your inner child, it will bring you everything you want. Just like little kids, when they are loved, they basically, everybody gives them presents, everybody wants to take them out. Just the same will be with you. Once you will start loving your inner child, it will draw everything. In my life, it's happening just like that. I pretty much get almost everything I want, everything that my inner child can grasp. Yes, I still have room to grow, obviously, like everybody else. I lived for many years in one particular behavioral pattern, but it changes, and you can change it as well. I encourage you. If your inner child tells you not to do something, don't do it. If your inner child tells you something to do, do it, and believe that your inner guide will bring you to the right decision. All right. So enjoy your evening, and I'll talk to you on Sunday at 11 a.m. The topic will be dating sites, yes or no. We'll see. All right, bye TikTok. Oh wait, let's see. Yeah, so I think we're good. Bye TikTok and bye YouTube.